why I'm saying it is because as an offshoot of my point on lifestyle, as an offshoot of my point on how to manage the body, this aspect is important. You talk about self-development. The development of the mind can only happen when the body is healthy, when the body is robust, when the body is agile, when your physical structure is salubrious for the development of a healthy mind and healthy intellect, would your life become perfect. So it's important, my dear friends, to look at the body with that kind of reverence. And the reason why I'm focusing on food also here in self-development is because that is something that we take 4 times or 5 times a day. And I'm sorry to say we take so much of food as well. So please look at the kind of food that you take, the type of food that you take, healthy, sattvic food, which is vegetarian, which comes from extremely non-violent sources. That is very important for our health and well-being. Food that comes from ahimsa. Gujarat is one place where Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi immortalized the word ahimsa. And what is ahimsa? Ahimsa is paying respect to things which are not just superior to us, but most importantly to things which are inferior. And one of the aspects is vegetarianism as well. So my dear friends, dressing the Indian way is also one way of treating your body with dignity and respect. I want you to imagine this particular scene for a second. You go back to your history textbooks, you would find questions which are very fundamental and existential. Of the 5 world civilizations, epoch-making civilizations which have had its heyday, 4 civilizations have perished, have died. But there is one civilization that continues to live on, despite innumerable number of conquests, innumerable number of invasions. This particular civilization has gone on and on and on, and that is the Indian civilization, the civilization of Bharat. Why? The answer is one line. It is because in Bharat, if you're a very successful businessman, the world is not going to ask you that question. India would ask you 2 questions. You say you're a very successful doctor? Good. You say you're a very successful management professional? Good. But the second question is, are you also a duty-oriented son? Are you a dutiful husband? Are you a dutiful wife? Are you a dutiful son? Are you a dutiful parent? Are you a responsible citizen? It is because in our cultural fabric these questions were there that India was able to go on and on and on. As Swami Vivekananda said, knowledge is something that cannot withstand shock, but culture can absorb shock. That's why India goes on. India goes on with that kind of spirit. And I think it's very important that we understand the depth of our culture and heritage. I would make a very strong recommendation for self-development. All my friends here, please read the beautiful classics of India, the works of people like Rabindranath Tagore, the Sanskrit poems, the Sanskrit plays, the complete works of people like Swami Vivekananda, where they have experienced everything and they've come out with a whole roadmap of how to build our personality. It is important that we get to this habit of reading more and more. Not just about contemporary affairs. I'm not saying come out of contemporary affairs. In as much as it's very important for our vocation, profession, and academics, please also read those works where you find originality of thought and expression. That is very important for the development of your personality. 2 more points before I conclude, very quick and small points before I conclude. I'm also convinced that, when you want to foster excellence, it is about how responsible you are as an individual. There are a lot of people who live in this world with just one premise. Everything, they blame the others. For any question, the answer is the fault is with somebody else. What we call as perpetual, perennial cynicism. 24 hours, life में एक ही purpose है, किसी को criticize करना. And this whole aspect of being critical, being negative, being pessimistic, keeping on blaming others, you talk more and more, one thing happens, around you, negative energy comes. Basic structure is very positive, every human being, full of light, full of effulgence, full of resplendence, but पूरा encircle हो जाता है negative energy, अगर हमारा energy critical और most importantly cynical, fault finding में हम invest करेंगे तो क्या है, अपने पॉजिटिव एनर्जी को ड्वार्फ करके नेगेटिव एनर्जी अपने पर्सनालिटी का अभिन्न अंग बन जाएगा. तो पीपल व्हेन दे सी यू, दे लुक एट यू एज अ बर्डन एंड नॉट अ बून. So it's very important that we appreciate what is excellent. I think great things can happen in our life if you go back home and tell your mother, Mother, thank you so much for this good meal. Your mother will be so happy. How many times have we said it? Arey, what is the use of learning computer science and what is the use of learning nanotechnology if you cannot go and tell your mother, Mother, for your sacrifice, I am thankful to you. That expression you have to say now. I remember having met a person who has trained the people in United Nations. His wife died. And when his wife was dying, this man was holding his wife and her breath was slowly going. She was only 48 years old. This man said, intellectual man, successful man, accomplished man, a man who's hogged the limelight when it comes to matters of performance. Great trainer he was. But when his wife was dying, he saw that the wife was very firm. She was not emotional. So this man looked at the wife, and the wife, without crying, said one line, I want you to bring up both our children with samskara. Make them true Indians. And this man was wondering how my wife at the age of 48 is able to accept death with so much of peace, with so much of strength and fortitude. So this man said, I was feeling that breath is going away from the body, breath is slowly ebbing away. He came out with his last line. He looked at this lady and said, his wife, and said, thank you so much for looking after me with so much of love and affection. When he said it, tears started coming. And then this man looked at her and said, Arey, you did not cry earlier. You were able to accept and brave death. But now you're crying? This lady looked at him and said one line. She said, I wish you had told me this earlier in life. And this man, before he could give an answer, she was gone. My dear friends, you don't get a second chance in life. Do it now. If you want to change and transform your life, do it now, this very second, simply because the future is not in our hands. And the human mind is very wicked, because human mind will give you hundreds of reasons not to do a thing. One line that I want you to remember before I close the session is, instead of saying thousands of reasons not to do a thing, say one reason to do a thing. Express it now to your parents, to everyone. Go and appreciate. Don't be jealous of anyone. Don't be envious of anyone. That's why the French philosopher Voltaire, who was one of the architects of this very wonderful French Revolution that completely changed the contours of the world, he said, appreciation is a beautiful thing because it makes what is good in others ours. दूसरे व्यक्ति में जो गुडनेस है, अगर हम अप्रिशिएट करते हैं तो वो अपना बन जाते हैं. It is very important to be able to express with honesty, dignity and conviction in a timely fashion. With ego, with jealousy, with hatred, we will reach nowhere. And that's why the scriptures of India said, from time immemorial, asmita, ego, negative. Jealousy, even more negative and poisonous and obnoxious. It is important to have a clean mind, uncomplicated mind, a simple mind, a very transparent mind. And then anything is possible in life. So my dear friends, I would request all of you to focus on everything that I spoke about, right from, things like social transformation, to doing seva in villages, to looking after animals, to planting trees, to be responsible for water, to tell at least 10 people from our education that making a society which is clean is more important than some of the greatest things that they do in life. If you make your environment pure and clean, not throw garbage on the road, you're doing a great thing to make your life better. You're actually contributing to the betterment of your society. All the things, reading good books that we spoke about. Not abusing your body. Very important, not abusing your body. Right kind of food, right kind of dressing, right kind of thoughts, right value frameworks in life, right application of values in life, totality, life becomes absolutely wonderful. I conclude my speech with one very last statement. The reason why you should look after others, the reason why you should look after plants and animals, every aspect of God's creation. One of the first statements that came out of the lips of the Gurukulas of India, the rishis of the Gurukulas of India, was one line to the Chela. The disciples went and told the Guru, Guru, how should we lead our life? You would probably not find this statement being uttered in the best universities in America, England, and France. But then, thousands of years ago, in this great country called India, the statement was uttered, and that line was, always say, Parasparam Bhavayantaha. The disciple said, Guru, Parasparam Bhavayantaha, what does it indicate? What does it connote? What does it signify? The Guru said, Parasparam Bhavayantaha means, may we help each other. May we nourish each other. May we complement each other. May we support each other. I support a plant, the plant supports me. I look after a cow, the cow looks after me. I look after the tree looks after me. I look after another human being, he looks after me by lavishing love and compassion. Reciprocity, mutuality, a whole network of goodness, the whole aspect of interdependence. Parasparam Bhavayantaha. Today we read Western literature and say, oh, they have spoken about the whole aspect of teamwork. And teamwork is a term that was invented what? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Because management as a discipline is only 50 years old. But then thousands of years ago in the foothills of the Himalayas, our Guru said, Parasparam Bhavayantaha. And then the Shishya asked him, what do we get? He said one simple line. He said, a statement in which that last line, I'm just quoting, he said, if you do say and live your life according to this particular dictum called Parasparam Bhavayantaha, you reach the highest levels of fulfillment. In fact, that line that was used was Param Avapsyata, which means all of us then would reach the highest levels of fulfillment. Not even happiness. Happiness is temporary. It comes and goes. It is fleeting. But fulfillment is something that is eternal. So I request all of you to please, when you walk out of the room today, to think about what has been said, to ponder about what has been communicated, and take it as a very firm resolution to your conscience, not to the world, to your conscience. From today, I will bring this change in life. And I will hold on to this change till the end of life. Not because I'm excited, not because I'm motivated, because I understand that whatever has been communicated is in my best long-term interest. If you think what I'm communicating is truth, the truth that I learned not from books, but I learned from the cancer ward, the truth that I learned from leprosy wards, from psychiatric wards, from burns wards, from serving cows in the Gaushala with these hands. I'm proud to say, with these hands I've served and washed cows, and I'm still doing it as seva. All these multifarious, multitudinous, multi-dimensional, multi-layered experiences have taught me it is important, my dear friends, to live a life of selfless purpose. Thank you. Namaste.